Good afternoon, everybody. This is Damon Bond from Bond Realty Group LLC. I'm a licensed real estate broker in Connecticut and a licensed real estate agent in New York. Today, I just want to talk about the ins and outs of wanting to purchase a home. It's a big step for a lot of people. For a lot of people, it's probably the first and only major investment they make. So I just wanted to discuss the quirks and things you have to do. I'll do this in a couple of series. I don't want to inundate people with a lot of information because they go to overload is a lot to contend with. So today, my topic of discussion is steps you can do in purchasing a home. Now, a lot of people, they want to decide what type of neighborhood they want to live in, which is fine, what type of house they want to have, which is fine also. They take a lot of things into consideration, such as schools, how far the commute is from work, access to public transportation, and such. These are all very important, no doubt. However, one area in which people lack general knowledge about is what it is you actually need in order to purchase a home. How do you go about starting to purchase a home, the home purchasing process. So I'm licensed in Connecticut. I practice real estate both in Fairfield County and New Haven County, as well as New York. I tend to cover the Bronx and all of Manhattan and Westchester County. That's my areas. Even though I could sell wherever, I tend to list homes in the outer boroughs, and I will work with home buyers and sellers anywhere, like I said, in Westchester County, the Bronx, and in Manhattan. So what I'm saying is pretty much applicable no matter what part of the country you're in. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at dbond011@gmail.com. That is D, initial with my first name, Bond, B-O-N-D, my last name, 011@gmail.com. So anytime you have a question, please, you can always email me. It's not a problem. So the first step. Well, before purchasing a home, the first thing you should do, of course, is check out your credit. Unless you're paying cash, in that case, you don't have to listen to me on this point. But many of us don't have cash, the plop down $200,000, $300,000 on a piece of property. So more likely, you're going to need to obtain a mortgage of some sort. So you want to certainly check your credit out. You can do this yourself, and you can check out your credit for free. By law, Congress instituted this a couple years ago. You are entitled to one free credit report from each of the bureaus. The major credit bureaus, of course, being TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So you are allowed by law to get one free credit report from each of the agencies, which means, when you really think about it, over the course of a year, you can every 3 months you could get a credit report. So let's say it's January, and from January to March you can order one, all right, credit report. That's for free. Let's say that's TransUnion, and then let's say from April to June, whatever it is, that's another credit report for free. And let's say the last part, August to December, right? So it'll be every 4 months. Excuse me. You got a free credit report if you want to do that way, or you can order it all at once. It depends on what you want to do. So, a couple things here. You want to see what's in your credit report. That is vital. That way you don't have any hiccups once you decide, okay, you see the perfect house you like, your significant other. Let's say if you have kids, the kids love it. So you certainly want to make sure that there's no surprise or hiccups. So you want to pull your credit report. And basically, you want to go over for any inconsistencies or inaccuracies. There may be items in there which you did not charge at all. Somebody else could have did it. Make sure there's nothing fraudulent. Make sure your information is correct. Your name, place you live, all those are correct. And let's say if nothing is correct, then if nothing is correct, then you can dispute that. It's very easy to do. You can do it online. Each of the bureaus have a place where you can dispute it. They have 30 days to investigate it, and if they can't find anything or come with anything, from my understanding, because I'm not a credit repair expert by no stretch of imagination, I'm a real estate guy, I'm a real estate broker, but to my understanding, they could take that item away. So you want to make sure that everything in that credit report is accurate. So that's the first step. So if everything is accurate, fine, you can move on. If it's not accurate, then you can dispute it. You feel free to dispute it. So that's the first portion. Then the next step you want to do is, you can also do this yourself, is you want to check out your credit score. Now, each of the bureaus have their own credit rating. What you want to do is you want to get what's called your FICO score. Your FICO score is your real credit score. So let's say TransUnion could give you a credit score of 700, Equifax could give you a score of 720, and Experian could give you a credit score of 690. That's how it is. Now, the credit score is not free. You have to pay for that. And depending on where you go, it can range anywhere from $6.95, I've seen it that cheap, to $20. So it depends on where you go. But you get that. Now, the credit score itself ranges from, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's 400 or 350 to 850. That's the range. 850 being, subpar credit. I mean, the absolute highest credit you could get. And I think you kind of know what 350, 400 is. So the higher your score, the better deals you're going to get. This is important because the higher your credit score is, the better your interest rate will be when you're taking out the mortgage. We're going to discuss that in another video clip later on. For right now, we're just focusing on getting your credit things together. And once again, if you have any questions, just email me, dbond011@gmail.com. That's D as in dog, bond, BOND 011@gmail.com. So you could do that anytime you want. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. So you have your score. You have an idea what your score is. Now, let's say your score is 800 or 700. You're good to go. All right. But what happens if your score is not that high? Is all's lost? No, absolutely not. It's not etched in stone. Well, it's etched in paper, but that can be changed. So let's say you have your credit report is less than stellar. Let's say there are some things in there. You have some dings in your credit. Let's say the number is down. Let's say you have a 530 or 550 credit. All is not lost. This is why you do this before you decide you want to get a home. Before you want to go and looking for shopping for a home, so that way you can have your stuff. You have your ducks lined up in a row, as the cliche goes. So you could do a number of things to get that score up. Number one, if you have an old debt, and usually debts go away after 7 years, then you start from fresh, you could pay those debts. You could give them a call. You could track them down. You could offer to sell them out. Say, hey, listen, I will give you 50% of what I owe you, or 60% I owe you. An agreement is, you take this off, you show that the debt is satisfied. You could do that. If you have credit cards, which a lot of us do, you can start paying those off and don't charge anything. Pay that debt down. So once you do these things, it'll take a little time, don't get me wrong, but once you do these things, your credit score will rise, and you'll see these derogatory things that are on your credit report will eventually be cleared up. It takes some time, but you could do it. I was working with a client some years ago where her credit report was less than stellar, and she fixed it up, and she was able to get it up there, get the numbers up, and it took a little while. It took about 6, 7, 8 months, but eventually she did it, and she was able to get herself a house. So these things are possible. So that's what you do if it happens to be too low. You get these things up. So once again, if there's any questions, dbond01@gmail.com. Now, once again, you can move on to the next step. If your credit report is good, if your credit score is good, you'll have no problem. So pretty much that's the first step. Know what's in your credit report. A lot of people don't. It's free. Just go online to myannualcreditreport.com. There's some other sites you can do, and you can check it out. So with that said, we will discuss after what happens after you get your credit report. What happens after you get those numbers down? Then we go from there. That'll be for our next video clip. In the meantime, this is Damon Bond of Bond Realty Group LLC here in Connecticut. Wishing you a wonderful day, and I'll communicate with y'all later on. Have a good day. Bye bye.